What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about which WB games could appear at the Game Awards. So I thought to do this, I did one on Microsoft. So for those, maybe it's the first time you're seeing, I've done a lot of videos of what games could or could not be at the Game Awards. For Xbox, I decided I'm going to just combine them. Now, for a lot of these WB games, I've made individual videos for. We made a video on Hogwarts and Gotham Knights and Lego and all that stuff. I've done individual ones. For this one, in case you missed any of those, that's fine. I want to put them all together, talk about as many as I can think of that have a chance or don't have a chance, and kind of go through their odds, okay? So to me, obviously, actually one thing to kind of throw in, I'm recording this after that Multiverse game, right, the fighting game, was announced. Now, I thought, and I think a lot of people thought, that game would have been announced at the Game Awards, but, it was announced before, so that ideally, hopefully, right, clears up a spot for something else. So the WB fighting game, I guess that counts. I mean, Multiverse is a real game that's, that exists, and could that be at the Game Awards? I highly doubt it. I feel like because of what they've done, they showed it. They actually accomplished quite a bit, I would say, in their 3.5 minute video talking about it. There's really, there is things they said they're going to, talk about later on down the line. We know the game's coming out in 2022, much like every WB game under the sun, but I don't think they're going to just turn around and literally 3 weeks later, I believe 3 weeks from the date they announced it, do the game. I just don't think that's going to happen. So that game's clear, and maybe, again, that's a good thing, because I highly doubt WB Games is going to show like 4 or 5 games at the Game Awards. I feel like it's going to be 1 or 2, hopefully 2. And hopefully actually more than 2, but I really think if you think any more than 2, I think we're probably just setting ourselves up for disappointment. Then we have the obvious, right? We have Lego Star Wars, Hogwarts Legacy, Gotham Knights. Those are the 3 incoming. Besides, I guess, obviously, what we got from Multiverse. So really, next year could have 4 games. Technically, Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, which I'll talk about in a second. Lego Star Wars, Hogwarts, Gotham Knights. Going in, going in, I would have said we would maybe get 2 of the 3. Right now, I would still say we would probably get 2 out of the 3. I really do think it's likely. I do. I get a lot of things wrong, and people are always willing and able to say that, and that's fine. I mean, these are just predictions. I really think Hogwarts makes the most sense. So of the 3, Hogwarts, and I'll tell you why. And we have a couple of reasons. We had that newsletter, which, some people read into. I mean, I read into it. Some people said, it is what it is, but it's nothing. And I get that. I understand that. I would just say, based off the newsletter, based off of, almost kind of like a pattern of what they have announced, and I guess announced and then like shown, and then they do the next game, and then they take a long period off. Hogwarts is that next game. Like last year, we had Gotham Knights, we had Suicide Squad, and then, about a month later, we had Hogwarts being announced at the PlayStation event. And then everything went dark for literally all 3 of those games. Fast forward to this year, DC Fandom, Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad. We haven't had a update on, Hogwarts Legacy yet. And I really think it makes sense that you're looking for that next, what's that next thing? Obviously, that Sony State of Play was the next thing after DC Fandom, but again, obviously, that wasn't the right scale, right? That event was not for games the size of Hogwarts Legacy. So I think Game Awards makes sense. Millie A, also on Twitter, right? We've talked about her before. She seems very, very confident. I'm willing to side with her, and then if she's wrong, then I'm not. I won't trust her nearly as much going forward. But it hasn't steered me wrong yet. And so, until I do, get massively disappointed because of it, then, I guess I'll trust her for now. But I really think Hogwarts makes the most sense. I struggle to say this, but I truly think Lego Star Wars makes the second most sense over Gotham Knights. I think just because Gotham Knights just went. But yet again, you could make the argument that because they just went, and they didn't have the release date, they also really didn't do much at all at DC Fandom, that maybe they could come back, a quick turnaround and do something at the Game Awards. I understand that. Trust me, I want it. I just feel like, specifically, actually, the back and forth that Jeff Keighley has had with Lego Star Wars, it's been at like 2 or 3 of his shows in the last 2 years. Like, there's just, there's something there where I feel like Lego Star Wars makes sense. It's also kind of in limbo, and yet it's not. Like, it may come out the first half of next year. That would make sense. And yet again, Gotham Knights is the same thing, you know what I mean? So I would say, honestly, those are a coin flip. I really think Hogwarts is very, very likely, and I'm willing to say that out loud. And the other 2 are more iffy. And That's even if there would be a second one. Again, I really think the biggest point I want to drive, and really that's what all of these, like all of these combination videos, the one I did on the Xbox games, the one here, I'm probably going to do one on, PlayStation games. The thing is, it can't be a show just for one publisher, okay? And even Jeff Keighley has said that. Like, it's actually not that, right? So you're not going to have I'm telling you, you will not have WB Games go up there and do 4 to 5 games. It's not their show. That's like favoritism, and it's not. But the way that these companies see it, from what Jeff Keighley himself has said, these companies do see it as that. So if Microsoft goes up there and has like a mini Xbox E3 on Jeff Keighley's stage, Sony and Nintendo actually get very upset at that. So that's like, it's petty, but it's the way these companies operate. So there's just no way that WB Games is going to go up there and show their entire lineup. It's not an E3 presentation for them. You know what I mean? So I would say Hogwarts, and then maybe one of the other, 2. Multiverse, no. And then you have, I guess, the 2 wild cards, which would be NetherRealm's game. I don't think so. Really quickly, why? I think it is Mortal Kombat 12, and I think it's releasing in 2023, not next year. So because of that, I think you're right. It's going to probably come out like April, May, right? Like they all do. And so I think the Game Awards makes perfect sense. But I don't think you're going to do it this far out. It's taking them longer because I just feel, well, actually, I think the actual reason, right, is because they spent so long supporting the last Mortal Kombat game that it took them a while to get going on the one they're working on right now. So I don't think Mortal Kombat and Monolith, Monolith would be that like surprise. Like I want Hogwarts and Gotham Knights probably more than anything else, but like I want to see Monolith's game at some point in my life, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but I really do want it. So we'll have to see, but for Monolith, I don't think that's going to happen either, even though, they've been working on it forever. It may come out in 2022. It may come out in 2023. I don't think maybe next year going into this time, maybe we already know what the game is, or there's been leaks, or they've already announced it. I'm hoping, because I feel like it's the right time. And that's, it's a candidate, but I don't know. Well, like, I want it, but if you gave it to me over Hogwarts, like it's there and Hogwarts isn't, I'd be very mad. And so I guess the real answer then would be, right, that I don't. Actually, I want it, but I kind of don't, because I'd prefer the other things first. That's just, it's just kind of prioritizing, because again, we're not going to get all of them, so we just kind of have to pick what we want most. So those are, in my opinion, right, the biggest games. Actually, every game I think WB Games is working on that people care about, at least. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, which games you think will be there, which games you think won't. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on. I will be co-streaming the Game Awards. I've made a lot of videos on them. I will make more videos on them, so we're gonna have a lot of fun. December 9th, by the way, is when the Game Awards is, and like I said, we'll watch it together, so make sure you guys come back here. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, or subscribe to my second channel, or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for them all are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.